Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to introduce our topic, inheritance of the fetus. On this first slide, we see that this material is copyright 2025 by Continuous Learning Development. We will explore some interesting aspects of how legal heirs can include a fetus. Sometimes, that includes cases where the fetus might be a male or female, one or more, or even in uncertain circumstances. We'll look at the conditions under which a fetus is entitled to inheritance, specifically if it exists in the womb at the time of the decedent's death, even if it's just a small discharge, and if it is delivered alive and in stable condition. We'll cover these points and more as we go along, so let's get started. In this slide, we're diving into the analysis of the fetus case, which is quite a detailed process. We start by considering 4 possible scenarios: that the fetus is either dead, male, 1 female, or 2 females. The goal here is to establish a unified basis for all these cases, similar to how we approach hermaphrodites or missing persons, by creating a common framework that can be applied regardless of the specific outcome. Once we have this basis, we determine the shares for each of these cases. These shares are derived directly from the unified basis we established earlier. Then, we take each of these shares and multiply them by the shares of the heirs involved. This step essentially apportions the inheritance based on the different potential outcomes, which results in a lesser portion for each case. Finally, the shares that have been allocated to these cases are deducted from the overall unified basis. The remaining amount, what's left after these deductions, is kept aside until the fetus is actually born. This process ensures that we fairly account for all possibilities and set aside the appropriate shares in advance, aligning with the overall theme of precise and equitable estate distribution. Welcome everyone. Let's take a closer look at this slide, which summarizes some key points about our case analysis. First, notice the title Copyright 2025 by Continuous Learning Development, indicating the ongoing nature of our learning process. Next, we see the remains. 24 minus 3 equals 21. This represents the remaining cases or data points after some are accounted for. Now, moving to the table, which is central to understanding the distribution of different demographic groups and their outcomes. We have categories like 2 females, 1 female, male, dead, and so on, with their respective counts and proportions. For example, the 6 instances of 2 females, 3 of 1 female, and 3 of males. The counts like 4, 8, 8, and 24 help us see the distribution across these categories. Then there are fractions like 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, and 1/4, which indicate proportions or probabilities within these groups. Specifically, the 1/4 corresponds to pregnant wives, highlighting reproductive considerations. Moving further, the labels such as uncle, fetus, and the numbers like 3, 7, 4, 16 help us understand familial relationships and outcomes in this scenario. Most importantly, this table illustrates how different groups are interconnected and how their outcomes depend on various factors. The key takeaway here is that these distributions and proportions help us analyze complex relationships and make informed decisions based on data. Connecting this to our overall theme, it emphasizes the importance of detailed analysis in continuous learning and development. Understanding nuances helps us improve our approaches. So, as we move forward, remember that breaking down data like this enables us to see patterns and make better predictions or interventions. Thank you for your attention. Let's keep these insights in mind as we continue our learning journey.